Okay, coming back, workshop,
We are back.
10/17.
I would like to thank all y'all for allowing me to have these workshops so you can listen to the outside agencies. I know they appreciate you listening to them. And now I need guidance on how to proceed with the FY 2026 budget. As you can see, this column, as in the requested budget, this is what the organizations have requested. I went ahead and created a recommended budget. I've put in some amounts just based on what I've been listening to the whole conversations, but this is where I do need some guidance. Of course, we cannot take a vote during a workshop, but this is where I take suggestions, recommendations, thoughts, and then I plug it into the budget so I can start balancing it, and then we could discuss again in August as we're finalizing the budget. But I do need some guidance today.
Y'all don't happen to have an extra copy of this downstairs? I didn't think to bring mine down.
I can get one printed.
Oh.
Here, I'll share mine with you.
Okay, Fred will share.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm in a sharing mood.
Thank you.
I didn't think to bring mine down.
So the first one we're going to discuss is Voices for Children. They have requested $60,000. Recommended as of today is $60,000. Do y'all have any thoughts on leaving it flat, increasing it, decreasing it?
I don't have a problem leaving it like it is.
No,
Okay.
that's fine.
Continue to leave it where, yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
Dispute Resolution Center. In the past years, they received $50,000. They requested $60,000 for this next year, and their suggestion is because of the rent increase of the building that they're in. I recommended $50,000, and this is where I ask if y'all like to increase or leave the same.
I'd rather leave it at 50.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yes.
Okay.
Yep, unfortunately, we got to share the wealth.
Yeah.
Agree. Amber Alert Network, Brazos Valley, they requested $5,000. I am recommended for $5,000.
I'm on that board, so I won't have an opinion on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd keep it at the 5,000.
Big Brother, Big Sister of South Texas, they requested 40. I recommended 40.
I
Okay.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Boys and Girls Club of Brazos Valley, they requested 70, which is $10,000 additional from last year. I recommended 60.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if they can work with Brazos Transit,
I can't hear you.
especially if they can work with Brazos Transit to reduce some of their expenses.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see.
Keep Brazos Beautiful, they request 16, which is $1,000 more than last year. I recommended 15.
15.
Yeah,
Good.
15.
Brazos County Crime Stoppers, they were funded $5,000 last year. They requested 22, but in the discussion yesterday, they went back to request $5,000 because they're trying to reestablish their board of directors and try to figure out what they really need. So I went back to $5,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
For North Bryan Community Center, in the past years, $50,000 have been awarded to them. They requested $140,000. I went back to recommended at $50,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the sad thing is that so many of these different groups that have asked for additional money, they're asking for it because they're being cut in other ways. But, you know, we can't be everything to everybody, because if we are everything to everybody, then we have to raise taxes, and of course, nobody likes to raise taxes.
No, I agree
So-
100%, and we have to
so-
remember that if they're being cut, that means additional unfunded mandates probably coming down for the county to cover as well. So
That's
we'll
right.
probably take a
Wow.
hit.
Yeah, but I'd rather push them toward having private fundraising events because we have a very philanthropic community, but they need to get out there amongst them and ask. It's easy to come ask the county for money. It's harder to go ask 10 other people for money.
Sure
Okay.
is.
They have a big event coming up. I know that.
Well, and in general, I mean, we have so many things going on in the county. We're paying for things as we go primarily, but I mean, our debt service stayed very low for all that's going on, but people in the county can't keep paying more tax. All of these are fantastic opportunities, and you could argue that the mission of the county, with when you look at criminal justice and jail and mental health and service of veterans and supporting first responders. All those things coincide with mission of county, or most of them I can really see that, draw that correlation. But we can't keep going to the taxpayer for, I mean, not just these things, but lots of things on this budget. We're going to have to be very lean this year, and that's going to, this is one of our first workshops. It's going to have to start here.
So I guess you could say we're saying we will support you, we just not be able to support you at the level that you're requesting.
Yeah,
But you will get something.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I've taken direction from, the conversations that we've had to keep this budget lean, and so that's why some of these recommendations are flat.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
So Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce, $15,000 was requested, recommended $15,000.
Okay?
Sure.
Aggie Lane Humane Society requested $261,000. This year they were funded $209,000. I recommended $209,000. Okay. For Arts Council of Brazos Valley, funded this year for $12,000. They requested $14,500. I recommended $12,000. Okay. Brazos Valley Council Government membership dues. Again, this is shared between all the counties that are in this organization, and they base it off the population and the CPI. Their increase is at $76,349, which is $3,000 increase from previous years. I do recommend increasing that because there are other counties that are sharing, like I said, the wealth regarding the membership dues.
Of course, I have to abstain, I'm on the board, so, but thank you.
Well, and there's based on the documentation they gave us, a big multiplier for every dollar we give them.
Yep.
They bring
get a lot
back.
Yep.
Yes,
They do.
and a lot of grants. And they do help us receive grants as well.
Okay.
For Brazos Transit District, they were adopted $316,000 this year. They requested $400,000. I left it at $316,000.
Good.
Brazos Valley Thin Blue Line requested $5,000. I recommend $5,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
For Brazos Valley Food Bank, they requested a $5,000 increase. I put on the recommendation for $10,000.
Good.
Okay.
And this is where I need some,
Well,
discussion too.
again, while I'm not a volunteer, I understand the food, the need for food in terms of the service that they provide is going up exponentially. I mean, it is a continuous, when you start talking about that. So I'm more in support for the $5,000, but I realize I'm not the only voice, just because I know what they do. And they do fundraisers. They do all kinds of, so it's not like they're not trying. It's almost like they're just running in place to try to keep up with the need. The request for services that the community is needing. And I suspect that it's going to go up in this
imagine.
next year. So personally, I'm in support of the small increase, what I consider a small increase, but I know I'm not the only voice.
And I want to remind the court that, we'll go through this again in August when I'm closing up the proposed budget. If there's some things that you would like to make sure or to request to be put in the budget and it's not, you have the process during the adoption where you can make a motion and it's voted on to be put into the budget. So there are several different processes that we can still continue to go through as we close out this year.
I'm in favor of leaving it at 10,000, and let me tell you why. I served on their board for 15 years, and there were times that we were short. But every time we made a big plea to the community, which this is
got it.
a tremendous giving community, they all met the need and met the challenge every single time, and the food bank will do it again.
Okay. Next is going to be the Brazos Historical Commission. They requested a $1,200 increase. They wanted to send an additional employee that they have to a conference to help out with the Historical Commission. I recommended $8,300. They requested $95.
83.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brazos Valley Veterans Memorial, again, requested $30,000. I recommend $30,000.
Okay.
The Brazos Central Appraisal District, of course, they'll come back in August after when they have finished their appraisal review boards, and it's based on the tax levies, and so we'll get that as soon as I get it. I'll ask for her to come and do a presentation.
Can we just defund them?
That is not up to me.
That'd be nice.
You know,
Unfunded?
you need to speak to the state.
Well, we're not the only one that funds them, right?
No, all entities, all taxing jurisdictions, ESD,
All
cities.
those other 7 agencies, they
Yeah, let
collect.
everybody else fund them. We want out.
Yep. Our portion's the smallest, you know, compared to the cities and the ISDs. Just keep that in mind. The Easterwood Airport, again, this is an ILA with the university and the cities. We do a 3-year contract, and so this is a 3rd year. The reason why they did not come in person is because it's a promise agreement and it's part of their safety agreement that we have. The 3rd year agreement is increasing by $2,545, and since it's already a signed contract for 3 years, we're obligated. The Greater Brazos Partnership requested $350,000. I recommend leaving it flat. Brazos County Soil and Water Conservation requested $5,000. Recommend $5,000.
Yep.
The Health Department, same amount, requested $478,000. I was going to leave what they requested, which is no increase.
How to do it?
Yeah.
Health for All requested $30,000. I recommend $30,000. Easter Seals requested $35,000. Recommendation is $35,000. MHMR, previous years we funded them at $80,000 for certain services in the jail. They came back and requested additional services based on the conversation with the sheriff for additional services. $478,000, which I need to correct this to, I recommend what they requested.
Well, I thought what they requested, the 478,
That they then deducted.
they were going to deduct the 80.
They were going to deduct 25, and so in their presentation, last year or this year, they were funded $80,000. They increased it to $95,000 for their original request. On top of that original request is all the additional services that were discussed, which is additional $398,000. But $25,000 is taken away. You really don't see it because we're increasing it. We're increasing the cost.
Well, that's fine, but we need to have a contract in place with them for the services they intend to provide. I want it spelled
do.
out. What I don't want to do is pay for services we're expecting them to deliver to the inmates and it being delivered to another county.
In their current contract, it's very specific what they provide with with the current $80,000 in services. With the updated contract, it's going to list the same thing: who they provide, what it's for, telemed, their nurses, their case managers, and so it's very specific. I also want to remind the court that in the contracts, we ask for items back. It's called a 3-pronged test, and so since it's public funds, we make sure that that organization provides us what those funds are going for. So some of the organizations, we request quarterly reports based on statistics, like the transit district, rider shares. They have to do that every so often. Easter Seals has to send us monthly reports. Who sent us one the other? Oh, Aguilan Humane Society. They send us several reports monthly to show what the funds are going for. And so every single contract that we have for the outside agencies, we do expect certain things to be returned back to us. So it's very specific.
I'd like for us to put a break on that too, because I asked them to get with Santos at the health department, because we have a mental health component at the health department, and we should be using part of that resource with our with this program with the sheriff's department.
But I
So-
thought the health department folks weren't scaled up professionally to the level that MHMR, remember that was the discussion. They do have a component, but it is the breadth of it and the depth of it and the ability to do the kinds of things that are going to be needed at the jail don't compare.
But on the jail, they had different components. That it was just not the PhD people. There were 3 or 4 different components that made up.
They do
what-
have case managers. I don't know what the health
Yes.
department has in certain things, but I would hate for us to fund the case managers in one department and MHMR, and they're not working together and getting the proper documentation or recommendations. And so that's something that the sheriff, health department, and probably MHMR need to meet. And I think that was
Yes.
the direction that was taken the other day.
Yeah, thank you.
For Brazos County Emergency Communications, their request was $1,481,862, which is a $74,000 increase based on their employees. We do split the cost between the city of Bryan and us. I recommend leaving that because they do help essential. They're very vital to this community regarding our safety. And this is just proposed. Their board will not finalize their budget until August. And so once the board finalizes it, I bring it back to the court, and it's a resolution that has to be passed by statute.
So are we pausing till they come back?
This number will still be working all the way up until the day we propose.
Okay.
The prenatal clinic, they requested 75. Recommendation is 75,000.
Let me just comment that I talked to Lynn after the meeting today, and she said, you know, I failed to say that we also see inmates in the jail that are pregnant.
Yes,
And
they
she
do.
said, we got one bill that was $14,000 that that they paid out of that. She said it cost us about $30,000 a year for the inmates that are in jail who are pregnant, who are also, that they're also seeing in there. So, I mean, she said I should have pointed that out, and I probably should have asked for a little increase because we do deal with that, and that's something that if they weren't doing it, we'd be sending them to the hospital, and then those
would be
costs that
Come back to
they're
the indigent.
incurring would be on our back. So I don't know. I know they didn't ask for an increase, but I know they, you know, that they do a lot of things for us that it saves us a lot of money because of what they do.
Do we have a recommendation on what could be increased to?
Could we do an additional 25 and give them an even 100?
I mean,
Prenatal clinic.
And within that money, if there's additional money that's funded to these organizations, I can require or request additional information back from them without names and keeping things confidential. You know, how many times do they go to jail? How many, inmates do they see to help sustain this amount and for explanation?
But in this case, he's saying just one inmate costs $30,000.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
but one cost 14, but it was like $30,000 is what it cost them last year for
Okay.
inmates that were pregnant.
Oh, the total for 1 year,
Right.
okay.
Yeah. So we've got both, Bryan and College Station also.
I do not know what and their process is a little bit different than ours. And so I don't know if they're being offered, but I could check to see if they put in their application right quick.
Well, and once they're in jail, they're
Yeah, I don't remember
Brazos
seeing
County.
their
Yeah.
Yeah.
paperwork.
They're ours.
Yeah, because, both Bryan and College Station use the jail.
They listed that the city of College Station, 40,000, but they should be expecting the decision in July 2025. City of Bryan, 40,000. Again, their decision is back in 2025, coming soon, July. So it's not really proposed yet.
Yeah. Whatever y'all think. Chuck, you want that 100?
It's
Is that what
tough
you
to, it's, again, amazing use of, amazing organization to support. Definitely benefits the county, as we have people in jail, but
Yeah.
I'm struggling to keep increasing. Taxpayers are gonna have to pay for this. So we have all these other things that have popped up this year, and it's gonna be necessary, very necessary to have a lean budget.
Yeah, but they're
Well,
not.
they asked for
but-
75.
But in this case, because you're talking health, if a person needs the service, they're going to try to provide it in some way, whether we pay for it or not. And so I don't know what happens when they have to come, because there are, once, like the judge just said, once they're in the county jail, there are hours to pay for.
Yeah.
Why do we split it at 12.5? Chuck?
I mean, I could do
I
that.
think they would be happy with anything that they could
They asked for 75.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, she told me that they didn't increase, but she said she realizes that they do spend a lot of money on inmates who are pregnant. So I'm okay with that. If we want to split it at 12.5.
So 87,500?
87.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do hope when they request from the cities that they remind them that they're seeing
Absolutely, they're not
inmates.
paying anything.
And that,
And of course, once they're in jail, they're the county, their
Yeah.
cities don't have to.
but,
The cities help put them there.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Maybe quit arresting.
Yeah.
The National Alliance of Mental Illness, NAMI, requested 35,000. Recommendation is 35,000. Salvation Army of Bryan College Station requested 35,000. I was recommending 25,000.
Yeah, we'll just have to have more bell ringers this year.
And the report that they submitted to us, I do want to make a note on this. They expensed the 25,000 in the first quarter in the rental assistance program that they had. So the $25,000 was expensed during the first quarter, October through January. So they've already used the funding from Brazos County right off the bat.
They run out quick, all of them do.
Brazos County Rape Crisis Center, also known as SARC, requested 60,000, recommended 60,000. 10th quarter appeals, this is our contribution to the 10th quarter appeals. We normally get a letter telling us how much the judges are making, and we put in a contribution to it. So I usually budget 3,000 until the letter comes in. Okay? And once the letter comes in, I will definitely share that with the court, but this is our portion. The EMS protection between the two cities, it's a contractual agreement that we have with them. Depending on how many runs they make is what we pay. And so I budget at a flat $500,000 every year. It has not made it that far, but as the community continues to grow outside the county or outside the cities, it's more money that the county will have to issue, but it's based on runs. Okay?
You know what's amazing to me? Both my mother-in-law and sister-in-law both died of COVID within 10 days of each other, so I had to deal with everything, after their death. And the ambulance costs were
It's-
over $1,800 a piece for them to
That's a
go,
lot.
6 blocks. That's amazing to me.
And again, this portion of the contract is for outside the city limits. It's our portion. And so it's
Yeah.
based on runs, and in the contract, if a run is called and canceled, I do believe that I think it's still our payment, our bill.
Yeah.
But those are reviewed yearly. The volunteer fire department, they requested $29,000. I recommended 29, but I know there was discussion while they were here between 32, 35, and so I like to throw that number out there for discussion again.
What do you think?
I mean, I think the suggestion was 39. I'm
Yeah.
okay
An
with
extra
that.
40,000.
40?
Yeah, so, they were trying to work on a formulary so that on the fire truck, they'll be carrying life-saving drugs. Because they're usually the first ones out in the county.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anything to get those guys out there quicker.
I used them several times.
And recruiting,
Yeah.
it's like Chief was saying, the station should be, I know it sounds like an extra, but more welcoming. You're trying to get young folks, anyone, but he said it's a young person's game. So where they might want to be at the station more and help, and if that helps with training, if that helps with recruiting, if that helps with the mission they serve. But ultimately, this is one that I feel like they're falling behind in funding. All four precincts are falling behind in funding, and to recruiting, to being able to preserve the mission that they serve. And there's so many other things competing for the attention of young folks these days. So if this,
And the drugs.
Pardon?
And the drugs.
And the medicines,
Like use of
again,
drugs.
to outfit a firefighter with all the training and the PPE and everything else.
Well, and I can tell you, when I came in as a commissioner in 2011, it was 29,000 at that time. So it's been, I don't know how far back it goes, but I know it was 29,000 back then. So
Okay.
there hasn't been any increases.
And of course, their costs has increased. I know the foam that they use for some of these fires, you know, that they're the first responders, is very expensive, and they keep it on hand. And grass fires have been popping up more and more nowadays, and so they're the first responders, and they do help each other out.
Well, I was at an IGC meeting a week ago, no, this week. Prathana, our county engineer, presented, you know, building permits, plats in the county are up 93% this last 5 years over the previous 5 years. So a lot of people are moving to the unincorporated areas of the county, and this mission that they serve is just going to get harder and harder because there's more people to serve.
Yes, sir. Okay. Moving on, Brazos Valley-wide area communication system. This is also called BB-COG, BB-WAX. It's our radio for our police officers and stuff. And so this is a contractual agreement that we have between the other counties. And our portion is very small increase, which is $1,301. And this helps with all the radio towers as well as their radios that they wear on their hip.
We have to do that.
And anytime radios are added in any of
We
the
true up
member
next year.
counties, it reduces our price.
Correct. And so, again, this is the radio count based on today. As we move forward, if there's additional positions that are created for 26 that need the radios, we true up the new year coming in. And so we're always a year behind. For county indigent healthcare, this is again with BB-COG. Our portion is $106,000, which is a $9,000 increase. To not contract with them, we would have to have certain software in order for us to check out if they are Medicaid, Medicare services, as well as a position. So they do contribute to a lot of savings for the county. For Scotty's House, the request was for $29,250. I recommended $20,000. For Scotty's House.
So, I mean,
Oops.
They do a lot of good for us.
I
Yeah.
agree. I think,
Yeah.
I mean,
We ought to give them the 29,250.
that's kind of what I would think. I would tell you that, I mean, they do a lot of things that would, I mean, it's kind of like some of these other organizations. They do things that would cost us
Right.
a lot of money
Right.
If we
if
tried
it
to do
wasn't
it.
for them.
Right.
I mean, those really are the kinds of organizations that
Oh,
in the
just do it,
past
sure.
we've always tried to support. If they could do things for the county that's going to actually save us money overall, those are the ones that we really, I mean, because it's a much bigger bang for your buck, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they liaise with the DAs.
Yeah, that's, you know, again, all great causes.
Right.
We've got some key
Yeah.
missions of the county, and I do believe that so many of these support that, but I do believe Scotty's House, with what they're doing, if we had to replicate it,
Yeah.
yeah.
For Junction 505, this is for the 6 site collections that we have outside the county. They're requesting $242,309. My recommendation was to leave flat at $237,000. I just don't know what y'all feel.
Yes.
I think for this year, we might want to look at that again next year.
Okay. That's it. So yes, it looks like we have an increase, but there's one that we have not received. Again, it's the appraisal district.
The what?
The appraisal district. And so once I receive their budget, like I said, they're,
Yeah, I thought we were going to defund them.
you know, you need to talk to your state representative. And
Only if they
so,
change their name.
again, I want to thank all for allowing me the opportunity to bring the outside organizations to you to discuss the requested funding for next year. As we're moving forward with this process, this gives me something to put into the budget as I am working up the numbers, trying to keep it lean. I will bring the final request in August, and if it's something that is not in the budget or y'all want to see added or taken away, there will be an option after proposed to make a motion for adoption, and I could definitely go, I'll keep all reminder regarding the process coming up.
Will you give us new sheets to show all the
I would be
changes?
more than happy to.
Thank you.
So give me a little bit to work on it.
Okay.
I'm going to leave and take a vacation, but I will give it to you as soon as I can.
Thank you.
Do y'all have any questions?
Thanks, Nina.
Thanks,
Thank you, Nina.
Thank
Great
you all.
job.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
everybody.
thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Are we done for the day?
Unless you want me to continue.
No, no, no.
Okay.
no.
I mean, I prefer to be done. Thank y'all once again.
All right, we will be adjourning at times 10:47.
What a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Yes, she rolled us through there. Compared to yesterday, that's what I told her. I said yesterday it was just kind of plodding along.